take me through the process of how that whole thing went down for you guys at Rockhurst.
I mean, like everybody else, it was nuts. And yes, to say that it happened suddenly would be the ultimate understatement, because, we were somewhat talking about, this whole, coronavirus situation, but I don't think anybody, throughout the country knew what this, what it meant, what the impact was going to be. And we were on our way to on our spring break. We were traveling to Colorado to play 2 games, come back to Kansas City, and then we had a huge opponent on Saturday at home. So we're driving there thinking, let's see what's going to happen, and partly almost like joking, saying, I don't know if the season's going to be shut down, like never thinking that was actually going to happen. Then you just saw the dominoes start falling. To say that it was abrupt it wouldn't even do it justice. It was like it gave you no opportunity for closure whatsoever.
Yeah. As a coach, how do you deal with that? Because your players are looking to you for guidance. You don't have much guidance because you're also trying to figure out what's going on. So, how difficult is it in your position to deal with something so unprecedented?
It's beyond difficult. I mean, my players always, they look to the coach for answers, and I had no answers because I didn't know what was going on, and nobody knew what shoe was going to drop next. And so that was, I think, one of the more difficult things and I didn't even know how to respond to them, and I finally wrote an email to the boys, because we're a school based out of Kansas City, but our kids come from all over the Midwest region. So, kids were already starting to head back to Minnesota or Idaho or Colorado, or Illinois. And so they kind of just dispersed right away. So I wasn't even able to send an email talking to all of them until Monday, And so the meeting, I remember the meeting that we had was so impromptu, and I only got to say goodbye to maybe, half the team or a third of the team. It was actually, to be honest, it was kind of sad, and I don't know. I don't want to put in perspective with everything else that's going on. I don't want to sound like woe is me, but this is a group that you care about. And I know they, care about each other and care about the coaches. And so not to say goodbye in a proper way, it was, and not really know what's going to happen next. It was, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words.
So Division II already made the ruling that they are going to extend eligibility to all spring sport athletes. What were your first thoughts when D2 came down with that ruling?
I thought it was my first thought was I thought it was great, because I thought, well, at least they're giving all these student athletes another opportunity to play.
Now, kind of looking at it, what are the potential pitfalls of giving everyone an extra year of eligibility? Because like you said, originally the general consensus is, yes, let them play.
Okay, so first up, you're excited, but then reality sets in, because, lacrosse is, it's a sport where the ultimate goal is winning the national championship. And the highest, listen, you can play professional outdoor in the PLL or MLL, you can play professional indoor in the NLL, but it's the professional lacrosse is not the pinnacle like it is to play in the NFL or to play in the NBA or to play in the NHL or Major League Baseball or even the MLS. The pinnacle for lacrosse is collegiate lacrosse. So, so the reality set in too is Division II lacrosse only has 10.8 scholarships to give, and a lot of people don't understand this, but our roster is 48 kids. We're a small school football size roster. So let's say we've got 10.8 scholarships, 48 kids. So you can imagine the kids that aren't on a full ride, which is the vast majority. So do those kids, number one, do those kids want to take out another year of student loans if they're not planning on going to graduate school? And because lacrosse is not a sport where you can necessarily make a career at the professional level out of it, those kids have jobs. And a lot of them are thinking, well, coach, I love lacrosse and this is amazing, but my hand is being forced and I have to go into the work world. So I'm not going to take that, that 5th year. But then from the other aspect too, now we've got 48 guys. Let's say that my senior class came back, which is 13, 14 guys. We've got a roster of 62 kids, and how we can't scholarship all those kids. We can't travel 62 kids. We can travel 48 barely, but 62 kids we can't travel. So it really puts everybody in a bind. It puts say you've got a kid who's a face-off kid that you recruited, and he's a freshman, and you think, all right, well, I've got a senior who is, it's his year it's his position. He still has a hold of it, but I've got this freshman that I need to play. After this senior graduates, well, then the senior comes back, and then this freshman is now a sophomore, and now he has to wait another year. And so you get kind of in this situation. It's like, well, do I say to the senior, hey, I thanks, but now it's the sophomore's turn because I need him for 3 more years. I can't just have a stopgap.
You played at the Division I level. There are also disparities there. What is, the pitfall, so to speak, there, because you have schools that don't offer any athletic scholarship with some of the best players in the nation on those rosters versus, a team that could offer a full ride.
I mean, Division I is, I can only imagine what they're going through. So you're going to have a kid at a school like Syracuse or Virginia, really anywhere, that is having a great senior year. Well, now this happens, but then you have a freshman that you put a sizable scholarship in who's kind of waiting in the wings. So like I said, that senior decides, hey, I want to come back. Well, you're not going to scholarship him and then also keep this freshman that's now a sophomore scholarship, and then also welcome in a whole recruiting class where I know you've committed money. So that's where you get in a kind of an interesting position at the Division I level. Where do you put the money? Where do you commit the money to? Does this kid have money to come back? And that's it's a huge, shuffling around of finances aspect that, quite frankly, a lot of programs are not going to want to do.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out.